Welcome back to another episode of Unfiltered on the Kavod Family Podcast. This is a chance where we get to talk openly about things that we're going through in life, maybe some personal thoughts that we have as your host. We're also going to welcome back Danny Antoine. Today specifically, we're going to get into kingdom principles. We're going to talk about intimacy in marriage. We're also going to talk about cowardly prayers and rejection. 4 things that will be helpful for all. Enjoy. All right. Well, welcome back to the Kavod Family Podcast. My name is Casey Wilson. We've got Travis Shook, Justin Bonner, and Danny Antoine.
Welcome back.
Good morning, gentlemen.
Man, it's good to be back. How y'all doing?
Danny, it's been too long.
Yes, it has, man. I've been on kitty lockdown.
Well, this
D's, not T's. I don't want cats.
Well, this is our second round. Is it the second or third dose of this? Is this the third time we've recorded one of these?
Don't say it. It's not Friday. Don't
say
it.
It's Unfiltered Friday.
On a Monday. Every episode comes out on a Monday.
These guys crucified me because this thing is
Friday today.
It's neither recorded nor put out on a Monday. Or on a Friday, excuse me. And so,
anyway,
it really has no connection to Friday.
Let the man have it. Unfiltered Friday.
Anyway, our aim with this is just to be able to take some time and share some things that are going on personally, maybe some thoughts or some stories from what's going on in life with us, what God is teaching us, and kind of just talk from the heart for the next 30 minutes. Does that work?
Yep.
Yes.
So, Danny, why don't I let you kick it off? Because these guys have not heard from you in a while, and you just got out of 13 weeks of summer camp.
Yeah, well, I don't want to go first. All right.
All right. Well, let's do this. At least give us. We'll come back, but give us a small. Yeah, give us a small update.
Just coming out of 13 weeks of summer camp, and what a blessing, man! Just getting to be with those kids, and it's always on every aspect bittersweet coming out of that. You know. Sweet because, yes, it's a time of rest afterwards because I'm sun up to sundown, man, for 13 weeks. But real bitter because you go from every day having these kids Monday through Friday, 7:30 to 5:30, like all day long to like, you know what I mean, not having them. So that part of it gets a little sad sometimes, but it was a fruitful summer. Staff was absolutely amazing. One of the absolute best summers ever.
Really?
But in every aspect, with the staff, with the kids, just the community, you know, everywhere we went with the kids, it was just amazing. And then we got to finish off with the ultimate Helen, Georgia water park, man.
Yeah,
Took those kids down there.
Park.
I tell you what, they had so much fun. They blew right through lunch. I mean, 12 o'clock
Get
came.
out till like 1:30.
Kids did not want it. They weren't even trying to hear about lunch, man. We didn't eat lunch till like 2 o'clock. I was like, right on. So no, it's been a fruitful time. I miss being here, but it was good. It was good, man. Yeah, very good.
Right on. How's your boy Nathan doing?
He's doing good, Nathan. So he's in school. He's settled in. He's been calling, you know, just keeping me updated with how everything's going. So proud of you, boy. You keep it up, man. Keep it up.
What's it like? I mean, how young was Nathan when he came in and started doing classes with you?
Nathan was 5.
5?
5 years old. Yeah.
And so he's 18 or
18.
19 when he left?
18, yeah.
What's that like? He rose up.
It's hard. It's
became
hard.
a black belt.
It's hard. He's the only one in the karate school that's gone through all 3 of our black belts. The Tiny Tigers black belt, the Tigers black belt, and then an adult black belt.
Okay.
So, and he's been in it, man, through thick and thin. So it was hard, but it also, with him leaving, kind of gave the rest of the staff a chance to grow as well because it was such a powerhouse being there. Yeah. You see what I'm saying? So, but it's such an interesting young man. I tell you what, for what God has already done and is going to do in his life, it's something to behold. It really is.
And so he's gone off to college now, right?
He's off to college, doing the college thing. So we just keep in contact. He knows, give me a call every single time stuff is going on, and we talk through it over the phone.
That is awesome.
So and then when he comes back home, we get our jujitsu on, get in there and choke each other out. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. It's beautiful.
Right on. Well, gentlemen, who's going to kick this off today? You want to start, Travis, or you want me to go?
Yeah, that's fine. Doesn't bother me. I feel like I said this the last time that we did the Unfiltered, not Friday or Monday, Unfiltered. was Deuteronomy for me. And I feel like it's just built. It's just built. And it's crazy how it built because it's come from the morning men's group.
Yeah, it's been on your mind a good bit.
There's like 5 or 6 of us that'll pick a verse, we'll pray, and we'll open up in prayer, read the verse that God's been kind of working on us with. We'll explain what he's teaching us, and then we'll work out. And it's crazy just how it's built because I've been the end of Deuteronomy for probably 2 or 3 months now. And then I'm reading a little bit of Joshua, and I think David spoke, and it was Joshua 24, verse 15. And I'll read it, and I'll kind of I'll summarize some of it, read it, and tell you what God's been working on me with. And I literally explained this kind of sequence, I think 7 or 8 times to different people this week in unprompted meetings, all different life situations. And God has just been like running me through the gauntlet of it. And then every time he has me like meet with somebody, I'm like, oh, wow, this applies. Oh, wow, this applies. It's crazy. Crazy how it works. So Joshua 24, it says, and if it is evil in your eyes to serve the Lord, choose this day whom you will serve, whether the gods of your fathers who you've served in the region beyond the river, or the gods of the Amorites in whose land you dwell. But as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. So we've heard that at the end, but as for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. But what really stood out to me in the beginning, it was choose this day whom you will serve. I just kind of chewed on that for a while, and David spoke on it, and we have like a week where we kind of, chew on it, pray about it. We ask each other what we got out of it, and I knew I was going to teach on it the following week. So I was just like, choose today whom you will serve. And I was like, that's subtle because it's A, how do you serve? And then B, it's subtle. So how do you serve? I had been in Deuteronomy reading it. And then Deuteronomy, 6:5, it says, you shall love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, and with all your might. And these words that I command you today shall be on your heart. You shall teach them diligently to your children, and shall talk of them when you sit in your house, when you walk by the way, when you lie down, when you rise. You shall bind them as a sign on your hand, and they shall be as frontlets between your eyes. You shall write them on the doorposts of your house and on your gates. So to me, that was like how you serve God, right? Like it's the moment you rise all throughout the day, when you walk by the way, when you lie down at night, the doorposts of your house, the gates are like the entrance to your house. You're talking about it with your kids diligently. It consumes your thoughts all day. It's like the mission point of you throughout the entire day. And I was like, man, there's a lot of days that I've disciplined myself to start off reading the Bible, but then I get busy, right? Yeah. And there's things going on, and I'm like, and that's subtle because it says choose today who you will serve. And I started thinking about it. I was like, well, you're only serving one of two things, God or Satan, God or sin, one of the two. But it's not as black and white as I'm reading my Bible, I'm serving God, or I'm bad and I'm worshiping Satan and I'm sacrificing kids and watching porn and all this other stuff. It's not that black and white. There's a gray there because I know if Deuteronomy 6:5 through 10, what I just read, is how I serve God, not all my days look like that.
So you mean there's like a subtle indifference, like just an
not
apathy
indifference,
towards
but
it?
it's where Satan, it's where he has a heyday with us. Like he gets us busy and preoccupied doing things that could be good. Like for me, I'm like, man, there's days where like bills and money have been what I rise and think about when I go to sleep, walking by the way, because I'm like, I need to make ends meet. I have to pay certain things. So that is the consuming thought. And then I'm like, well, dang, I'm serving money. I'm chasing money. Something else has the throne of my heart. It's not that I'm ignorant to the fact that I need to get it and pay bills, but it's like it should not be the priority of my life. So I was like, man, it's subtle. It's very deceptive there. And at the beginning, Lyd really got me. And I've said this on the podcast before. I came home one day and she's like, we need to talk. And she's like, the kids were, Dad's home. And this was like right at the beginning. I opened the gym. I'm like, really? And it really like got me. And if you were to ask my kids in the first 5 years of the gym, what is Dad about? Well, who does Dad serve? They would have been like the gym, which would have been money, which would have been bills. But in my head at that time, I'm like, this is how I feed my son. Yeah. Like I couldn't buy them food. I could barely pay the bills. Wasn't paying the bills for a while when we first opened. Mom and Dad would help. My parents would help. Kids, at that age grow out of shoes like every other week. So I was literally like, I have to die daily to get food on the table. But it was starting to consume my thoughts. It was becoming the idol unintentionally. So I was reading this and I was like, man, I got to share this with the guys because as a man, you wake up and like you go to work. And work, as we got into and we've been into, is a good thing from God. But there's the fall, and it can be an idol, and it can be everything that you do. So it was super convicting. I was like, okay, how do we serve God? Deuteronomy 6 tells us how to. And if I'm not doing that, that's the standard. That's what I need to chase after. That's the correct order.
Yeah.
And then all these things. Seek first the kingdom of God, and all these things will be added to you. So I was, okay, I got a model, and when I'm not like that, I need to check that. And then I was like, the kids are a great indicator. They have no angle to know why I'm going to ask this question. So I've been asking them for maybe a last year or so now. I'm like, what's the most important thing? Like, what am I about? Like, what do I do? And they're like, Jesus. And I'm like, no, for real. They're like, no, for real, Dad. I'm like, all right, cool. And then a few times, like we've had some family members pass here and there, and I've seen some really good sermons or TikTok shorts or whatever about like, at your father's funeral, you should be the strongest man. We've talked about this and just different things. I'm like, if I were to die today, Reed, like what is my last thing that I would want you to grab a hold of? And we've been on here talking about how David's last words to Solomon and Moses to Joshua. And Reed's like, Jesus, and be in your Bible. And I asked Ez, and they're like, Jesus. And I was like, yes, because a few years ago it wasn't. And that wasn't like brag on me, but it was like convicting on like, it's so subtle how you can be lulled to sleep doing the right thing, but in the wrong order. And you're serving, a promotion or sports or money or whatever it is. And then to kind of build on that, so Joshua 24, verse 15 is kind of like, choose today whom you will serve. And he has this clause kind of at the end, but for me and my house, we will serve the Lord. And then Deuteronomy 28, which we've talked about on here, is he tells like Moses' plea to the nation, and he's about to tell Joshua, and Joshua's about to take over. So the last thing David said to Solomon was like, do everything that the Bible says. Like, be strong, act like a man. All of Joshua is be strong, be courageous, and follow everything that God has said. Follow everything in this book. And then it's all the blessings that come with that. So if you look at like kind of like an order, even though that's in different books and out in different chapters in a weird order, but like Joshua 24 is like this, like choose, especially as a man, whom you're going to serve. And he's like, as for me and my house, we're going to serve the Lord. Deuteronomy 6 is how you serve the Lord. And then Deuteronomy 28 is the promises of if you do serve the Lord. Yeah. And then at the end of 28 is all the curses. Yeah. And it's been like, I've been like kind of in all three of those, and I've been meeting with different people, and just random people have been calling me, and they're feeling some of the curses, the negative side of not being fully serving and chasing after the Lord. And so they're explaining to me what's going on, and I the curses are familiar because I've been reading it, and I'm like, how's your time with God? And they're like, I'm trying, or I don't know, and I'm just like, well, there's the cause and effect right there. I was like, do you know how to? And they're like, no, I don't know how to. I'm like, all right, well, Deuteronomy 6 tells you how to. But they're like, I'm trying to balance work and I need money. I'm like, you can only serve one thing. And it's just been like a gauntlet back and forth. But it's like, when you look at it like that, it's so simple, right? It's simple. It's not complex. It's hard to do because we're sinful and we're selfish. Yeah. But you're only serving one of two things, God or Satan. The gray is where Satan lives. And the gray is where we're like, it's black and white. So it's been nice just to hear that like transition of leadership, Moses handing it to Joshua. And you can imagine how a leader would feel stepping into Moses' shoes, right?
Dude.
And the whole time God's like, I will be with you like I was with Moses. Just be strong, be courageous. Do everything that I told you. And even God like told the nation, I'm reaching here. It doesn't say God told him to, but the nation was like, we will follow you like Moses did. Mm-hmm. If you. So like all the fear that this new leader would have, God is just like building him up. But Joshua knew before he got into it that they were all going to screw up. Because he told him at the beginning, they're going to do all the wrong things, but you're in charge. And it's just like.
So do you think it's because there's kind of two parts, early on in your life, that's not fair. At many places in your life, you have to reestablish that God is first and you have to come to him first, right? Set this day apart. I remember early as a young man, I was living 18. I wasn't in the home of a believing father or family. And I'd gone off and worked a summer camp. And at that summer camp, a bunch of kids that were in my bunk we had taken this big rock and wrote that verse, "As for me and my house, we shall serve the Lord." And I put it in the corner of that cabin. And then when I got done, I brought it home and I thought, well, this house isn't mine, but that bedroom, I can at least claim that bedroom, right? So I set it in there and it kind of became the standard of like, this room will now be set apart. It wasn't before, now it is. And there's a point that every person has to go through that, right? And then there's a point where it's almost like God is teaching you, look, it's not just that I want to establish that I'm first. It's that I need you to understand that I belong in your business. I belong in the money. I belong in the hours. I belong in the punch card, the time card. Like everything you're doing, you're just doing it apart from me. And that's why it's exhausting
and why you're
misplaced.
bad at it. And it sucks and all the curses. He's supposed to be in all of it.
And you felt that, right? Like figuring out, you talk about this all the time, like having to almost shut down the business and start it up again with Christ inside everything that we do, you know?
Yeah, I mean, but it's a I don't know. It's got to be a once and for all thing, because if not, we do the back and forth thing all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like we got to learn as men, when you make a decision, stick to it.
You can't
You know what I'm saying?
date Christ.
No, if you're gonna do it, do it, and it's got to be a permanent thing. Like even when you talk about shutting the business down, that was like years ago, but it meant from that point on.
So that's
This is the life.
landmark.
This is the lifestyle. Because I got tired of the back and forth thing. One moment I'm serving God, the next moment I'm self. Then I'm serving God again. Then I'm back on Danny's program. So how long can you stay on that yo-yo? How long can you stay on that roller coaster? Yeah. So I just think as men especially, any individual as it is, but especially men in today's culture, when you make a decision, you stick to it. Especially when you're making decisions for the kingdom, stick to it. There can be no more back and forth. That back and forth thing is a trap from Satan. He keeps you in a place where nothing is ever complete. God is not a God who doesn't complete things. And if we're his sons, what are we doing? We have to complete it. So yeah, that period of time, with the karate school, just shutting everything down and just starting from the very beginning, it's like, and I'm glad he gave us that foundation, because it's proven over decades now, like the worth of it and why it's worked out so well. So it's a good foundation. It's strong.
An aspect too of what Travis was saying is, I think part of on the application side of it, on the practical side of how the Lord has opened doors for you to communicate that truth, is that everything that you learn about God, the growth that you experience in God, all of that serves multiple purposes. It's for God so that he can be glorified, and you being more consecrated to him, right? He gets more glory through your growing love for him and your growing enjoyment of him. But it's also for other people, right? Like you are a tool in his hand to be used to edify other people. And this, when you were talking about how God, opened doors for you to have conversation with people regarding what you were learning from God, that's something that we miss a lot. And we, you just meet those people in church that are just morbidly obese on knowledge of God. And it's because they haven't given it away to anybody. And in this Psalm 66:16, David says, come and hear, all you who fear God, and I will tell you what he has done for my soul. Yeah. And I think about a verse like that, and it's like, there's a level where you want to expectantly read something, learn something about God, glean something from his word, and then you say, this isn't just for me. God, I believe you're going to open a door for me to give this to somebody. Like this is not treasure that I'm hoarding away. Like if we recognize that we are beggars, and we've been invited to the love feast of the Lamb, then those who recognize that they were beggars when they came in are going to be the most apt to share with others. But when we develop a sense of pride and selfishness and inward looking, we start to, I'm just going to get my daily bread, and that's where it stops. But there's a level where it's for your wife, it's for your family, it's for strangers on the street. I mean, there's been countless times I've read something in the Word, and then that day it's been like, 3 people, or it applies and keeps applying, and there's a level where we can end up hoarding that word from God instead of being expectant and having our eyes open, not just looking inward at ourselves, but having our eyes open to see where God might want to use that with other people.
And that's the gray. That's the subtleness to how do you serve God. Because if you're walking by the way, if your whole day is with him and talking to him and doing things with him and trying to think and how to apply it, you're gonna see the moments and the opportunities. And he's gonna convict you. And part of this, like, he's bringing up stuff from my past on where, like, I was learning it and genuinely trying my best to figure it out and walk into it. And he's just like a coach, a dad. Like, hey, check this out. So we had first opened the gym. I mean, it was nuts. It was insane. And we had this high school kid that had always come after school. And I had only known him a few months, but, you know, you're a coach, you're enthusiastic, you're fist bumping, you're well done, new max, da, da, da. And he was happy. He's laughing, doing his thing. And then his mom calls me the next day and says, hey, he's in the hospital. He tried to commit suicide. He tried to jump off a bridge. His friend pulled him off, da, 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 da. And I was like, what? She's like, he wants to see you. So I came to the hospital and talked to them. He's fine. He's good now. But, like, God was like, you can be so locked into being a good coach and doing deadlift max and, like, genuinely, earnestly doing it well and trying to be enthusiastic. But if you're not serving the Lord, if you're not love the Lord your God with all your heart, soul, mind, if you're not rising and meditating on it by the way, and you're gonna miss it. People are dying around you and are starving for God that is in you, but you're so worried about who are you serving, self or God. So, like, in that moment, I could have been like, man, I need 2 or 3 more members to make the end. Like I told you, money at the beginning days. So in that time, I know my brain was like, we don't have enough food to finish the week. Rent's coming up, and Reed's grown out of his clothes. So, like, those aren't bad things, but those were placed in front of God. And, like, I missed them. I might have missed a moment with that kid. And that could have been the outcome. And not that it's all on me or he rises and falls on me, but, like, he wants to use me.
Yeah.
And you can easily, that's the gray area I'm talking about is I could have, and I know that I was in that moment, doing everything I possibly could to be a good coach because that was contingent on money coming in to feed my kids. So I was locked in, but still, you can be locked in your trade or in your job and miss the person who gave you the trade and the job to give him glory. And you miss the people in there he brought to you at the very beginning. I think, Dad, you taught me a lot on that. I'd have 10 people in class, 15, 20, and then I have one. And I'm like, what the heck? Like, and me, if I'm being selfish, I'm like, there's one. Am I not doing good? The numbers are going to drop. I'm going to lose money. I can't pay for my kids. So it goes to self-preservation, even if it's in a genuine concern and worry and management over my flock. Like, I need to make sure my kids are getting fed. There's one person in class, it's declined. Crap. How do I become better?
Yeah.
But God, so many times, and you told me to reevaluate and think on it, he's like, he might have brought you the one for a reason. Yeah. I can't tell you how many times, still to this day, if I have one person in class, I'm like, okay, God, what are you doing? And I've told this story before. People like, clock, I'm hitting 3, 2, 1, go. And if you're in class or in a class, you know that the music's going and everyone's sending it and it's not a time to talk. I've had so many people tell me their deepest, darkest, most horrible things or something that happened that moment at 2, 1. And I'm like, I'm supposed to be on people not breaking their back or their elbow or their knee or their back or their, I'm jabbing at you too in case you didn't pick that up. But that's the point is like, it's in the gray area. Yeah. Like black and white. Yeah, I love Jesus. And at the end of the day, like, thank you, God. But like, the whole day was gray. I don't know what happened. I was just doing whatever was in front of me and could have missed an opportunity for someone who tried to kill themselves.
So you're 10 years in now to this business, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So would you say it's fair that 10 years down the road, God has taught you countless lessons on, managing a staff, hiring a staff, building a team, supplies, everything that goes into a business. I mean, you don't learn that up front. That's what he takes you through, and you can kind of begin to see God's fingerprint and all those things as you've been in it for 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 years, right?
Yeah.
I mean,
I would say that I feel like I've just learned how to listen to God and not do my prior screw up is what I've done.
I think that's the process.
It's like,
yeah, that's the sanctification of it.
For anyone just to grab a hold of the spiritual parable in this, and this might be where you're going. If it's not, please don't forget where you're going. I definitely don't presume to think that I've figured out how to run a business. I've screwed up enough to know we're not doing what I did before. And God, is this right? I'm going to take a step. And if it's wrong, I want you and I ask you to please change my direction or convict me of a different direction. But I know I need to move because the harvest is ready.
Yeah,
and I need to move, redirect it. And he has had such grace. Like, what was it? He's marvelously helped.
Mm-hmm.
Like, beyond marvelously helped.
Yeah, I think that's the point I was after, is that there's a lot of gentlemen that are running their own business or starting up a business that listen to this, and to hear from somebody else. I mean, Danny testifies to this, you testified to this, that the process is not, look, I'm going to go get with God, find out everything I need to know, then start this thing up, and I'm going to do it perfectly. It's that you get moving, and along that road, God sanctifies you and teaches you and humbles you and redirects you and guides you. I mean, that's the pattern that we see even in scriptures, especially in the book of Acts, as Paul is going off and doing missionary journeys and other things. So we want to get ourselves to a place to where it's mature as a Christian to expect, I'm going to begin, I'm going to fail, he's going to guide. Why? Because I'm a son. And so I got to get to work. I got to start.
And I mean, I've said this before and it sounds super corny, like motivational speech, but failure is perspective. If you look at David, who was anointed king, a man after God's own heart, all of this stuff was spoke over him. Killed a lion and a bear, killed Goliath, like he's doing the thing. You hear the Psalms, him worshiping God is God refining him. At the beginning, you feel his emotion and he's like, God, why? And then always like midway through, it's like, but you are good and you are Lord and I will do what you want. It's all you. And there's a change
Honesty.
in that. And as he's crying to God and worshiping God, God is refining him. Yep. So he's king. And he's king, and with the title of a man after God's own heart, he's anointed. Like, you would think he's got it figured out. Lord, no. He's been the whole time.
Yeah,
he's being
sonship. And sometimes it sounds like, it can sound from an outside perspective of, so you're just saying, like, cross your legs, pray, go into your prayer closet, and when you walk out, there's going to be a business. Like there's going to, but no. I was thinking as you were talking, like, Matthew 6 says, seek first the kingdom of God, not seek only the kingdom of God. Like, in terms of prioritizing him, it's not like some magical formula where you don't have to actually go and pay bills, work. It's just, this is preeminent, right? Like Colossians 1, that in everything he might be preeminent. Like, that it's not just that's the only. Because you can't say, I didn't focus on my work today. Well, sure, you had to focus on your work or you wouldn't do anything. But what is the thing behind all of that is the driving, motivating factor, like you're talking about with resetting the business and all of that? And that's, you seek first, and then everything else goes. That's why. That's the precursor to it is successful. Like, if you look at a good leader, most of the time they're a good leader, they don't care about leading. If someone is really wealthy, they're not obsessed with money. They've learned the principles through, most of the time, hell and trial, and they've become prudent with it. Like, most people who are qualified for a role could care less about the role. That's why they're qualified for it, because it's not an idol. So if someone is good with money, God has dealt with them and refined them. Not always. I'm giving an example. But like most people in wisdom and leadership, and you read this stuff, it's the unqualified guys, but what did they have? A heart after God, a sincerity and an earnestness to serve God. And that's what qualified them. I mean, if you think about it, like my son, I would love for him in a perfect world. He's sinless. He's in leadership. He's in influence. He has money. And if he has those things and he's God's son, he's going to take care of people. He's going to love people. He's going to bless people. He's going to give to people. He's going to take care of the flock. Yeah. But like most people in their pursuit, they want that. They're going to idol. The money's going to become an idol. They're going to want power so they can. It's a sinful reason. But if you're submitted to God in the process of it, he refines you so that those things don't matter and he matters. And when he matters more than those things, he'll give you those things because you'll manage them well and they won't manage you.
That's good. That's good. All right, Justin or Danny, one of you guys, what's been on your mind lately?
So I was talking, with you guys, a couple of y'all this morning, and just thinking through how, for me, the way that I'm wired, I like, I like theology. I like to turn over stones in the Bible. I like to think about things like theological ideas. I just enjoy that. But sometimes it moves me into being very narrow in the way that I think. And so then I'll let other things kind of go on autopilot in my life. If they're on life support, then you got to take care of it. But if it's just stable, if it's idling, then it's good. And so I was thinking about marriage and thinking about my wife and kind of just trying to think of it in a different lens. And I was listening to a pastor speaking on friendship with their spouse and how that's such an underrated.
Is this Beakey?
Yeah, Joel Beakey. He's got a book called Friends and Lovers that I read a while back. But there's a level where, guys kind of stray away from any kind of talk of like, this is my best friend. It's just kind of, I don't want to get us canceled. It's kind of,
got it.
Like, and women are fine to talk about best friends. It's just kind of like, it's just kind of their language. But we know those guys that we're the closest with, and we talk about having a relationship with them that even they know things about us that our wives don't, that this just kind of stuff happens. But it really put into perspective how you need to be closest on earth with your spouse, with your wife. And there's a level where it's so easy to compartmentalize everything in our lives and to keep a distance, because even our best of friends as men don't really know the totally real us. But if you actually are going home to your wife and living with her every day for years on end, there's no way of avoiding her seeing all your best and all of your worst. And that takes to endure through that. It takes friendship. This verse, Song of Solomon, chapter 5, verse 16. It said, this is the bride talking to her husband, but she says, his mouth is most sweet and he's altogether desirable. This is my beloved and this is my friend. And you're like, I just think that there's such a crucial aspect of we almost put our wives into this separate category than we put our friends, our companions. But there's a level where all of our friendships outside of our marriage should be colored by the real, authentic friendship within marriage, right? Like that this is the person who, like I said when we were talking this morning, if the world is on fire, if my business is failing, if my kids die, like Job, like if everything goes wrong, there needs to be one person. Yes, we have Christ. Yes, I'm aware of that. But you should be able to say, but my marriage, that is my friend. Like, and she is everything to me, and everything else could be on fire, but I know I have her and she has me. And there's just a level where it's easy to pass over that. If you're like, I'm not cheating on her, I'm not hitting her, I'm not really sinning against her, so it's good. Like things will just continue. But what will inevitably happen eventually, I mean, you see this happen all the time, that when the things that you had in common, because you didn't have authentic friendship and companionship in common, when the things that you have in common change and are taken away, that person will be a stranger and you will no longer have anything in common. Like what happens a lot of times is that children are the common thing between parents. And there are so many 40 to 50-year-old people that get divorced where you go, you've been married for 20 years. What are you doing getting a divorce? Like you didn't figure out in 20 years that you didn't like them?
Yeah, the project is over.
Yeah, like what do you mean? You should be like hitting your stride now.
Yeah.
And it's because they had everything in between them, and these commonalities were the thing that bonded them together, not friendship, not authentic companionship. And so when those things are taken away, when they become empty nesters, they look at each other and go, well, who are you? Because I only saw you through the lens of our shared things that we did, not who you are. And men, maybe you're in that right now. Maybe you're on the front end of it like me, who we've been married going on 8 years. And it's like, okay, we're not at that point yet, but I see everywhere how that can happen. Your schedule, your job, your business, all these things become the things that are keeping you together, not this covenantal relationship that at the heart of it really is friendship. And I think that that's just something that we can miss really easily as men because it's an emotional thing to talk about. And we just want to go, well, I love her, the old ball and chain, my old lady, but is she your closest companion? Are you back to back in on the crudes when they're kill circle and they all get in a circle and with their spears out? Are you like that with your wife and you are raising the kids back to back together on the same mission? Yeah. Or are you standing arm's length away with the world in between you? Because that will kill your marriage. That will destroy things.
Let me ask you this. Is it fair to use, because if you're working a normal job, you get up, you're out the door by, 6, 7 a.m., you're gone till 4 or 5. A guy's putting in 8 to 10 hours, usually in a work environment where his wife isn't included. Fair? Mm-hmm. And then he runs home, maybe after school sports or whatnot. Time-wise, you sometimes a lot of time for other people rather than your wife first. Mm-hmm. Is that fair? That's just the way that life is. And so is a better word maybe, not that close isn't right, but intimacy. There should be a depth of intimacy with your wife that no one else has.
Yeah.
They don't have access to the way that you speak or the things that you say or the places you go together or the way you spend your time together. There should be an intimacy, a sweetness to that is unique to you two and nobody else.
And I feel like to make it even simpler, because a lot of guys in intimacy, they're like, well, what the frick are you talking about other than having sex? Yeah, literally. Your wife should be your best friend. I'm with y'all all the freaking time. And I could use a break from y'all.
Because of work.
Yeah. And you guys want to hang out all the time. I love y'all, but I would much rather sit on my porch with my wife than y'all. And so if something funny, here's just a good indicator of if I'm doing this thing, it's cool, keep doing it. If I'm not, I should aspire to this. If something's funny, you want to tell her. If something's hard or stressful, you want to tell her. If you have a big decision in life, you want to go to God and you want to chew on it with her. If there's something good or bad going on with your kids, you want to talk to her and get her good. All of that. You should know that you have half a brain and half a heart, and she's the other half when you're married. That's how God sees it. She has things and attributes and gifts from God that you don't have. You would be stupid not to go talk to her and mingle the two.
Process that.
It's not one or the other, it's both. And the more that she is your best friend, if there's something funny, I want to call or make a note so I can remember it and tell her and reenact the whole thing later, because she's the person that I want to hear her opinion, affirmation. If I'm that class felt rough, I just felt super off. What do you think? She will list 3,000 things I could have done better. And it doesn't offend me because I know she's my heart and I'm her heart.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's the simplicity of a best friend. That's what it is. The group text that we're on, that we're all making fun of each other. If there is a wicked burn or a funny photo, I'm like, let's check this out. And she's dying laughing with me,
But I think there's just that level of, if it says we will be like angels, we won't be given to marriage in heaven. We'll be like the angels, right? That the ultimate marriage is the bride of Christ to him, right? Then what? Obviously, procreation is part of the purpose of marriage. But I think that, when we've talked about how, the Westminster Divines in the first question of the Catechism saying, what is the chief end of man? The chief end is to glorify God and enjoy him forever. They don't say ends. They say end.
That's one piece.
And so they, in their mind, I think it's correct to assume that they saw those things as inextricable, that you glorify God by enjoying him. And I think that one of, if not the most impactful way, beyond the fellowship of the Holy Spirit and the communion of you individually with Christ, the primary way in your life that you actually enjoy God is by your wife. She is his gift to you. He who finds a wife finds a good thing, right? Far more precious than jewels, than rubies, right? That we enjoy God and then thereby glorify him by loving our wives and by enjoying our wives, not just physically, right? But you're touching souls before before you touch each other physically, it's just, there's something that, you just always have these kind of light bulb moments where you go, I wasn't really putting as much weight on that as like I thought I was just kind of getting by. I see now I was just kind of getting by. And there's a level of, sure, I wasn't doing anything wrong, but how can we take this? How can we get the most out of this?
That's the gray that I was talking about. It's subtle. I said you serve God or you serve Satan. It's subtle. So we're great marriage, or I'm not cheating on her, or she doesn't hate me, or not screaming every night. Like that is a man's like, I'm not here. Could be better. I'm in the middle. You should always like I've told Lyd since the beginning. I don't know why I've always had this thought. Maybe it was the movies growing up, but like the thought of sitting in a rocking chair when I'm 80 with her and laughing about it. I think what it was is I saw my grandparents do that. The last few years that they were around and they're cognizant and so had all their wits and their memories, they sat on a porch and they told 50 years of memories when they were young and dumb to kids. Dude. And I was like, that's it. That's awesome. It. So I've always told Lyd, I was like, I can't wait. She's like, you're weird. I was like, when you've got gray hair and you're old, like, I can't wait.
You won't even have gray hair. It'll just be.
I said, when you have gray hair.
I might want to rewind that.
I might have some in here soon. But that's the idea, right? It's that simple. But man, it's the gray. It's, well, she didn't yell at me today. I'm not cheating on her. I'm not a drunk or like whatever it is. Like, that's not the standard.
That is not the standard.
Paul has that line in Philippians. Now, for him, he applies it to the church and to those that he's training up to walk with God. I mean, to other believers. But he calls them his joy and his crown. And that has become one of the most favorite descriptions of the people of God. And I've tried to use it. Like I've acknowledged my wife and my children with that before. This is my wife, Erica. She is my joy and my crown. These are my children. And I try to repeat that in my head or feed on that as much as I can because life has its way of trying to make them not your joy and not your crown, right? Like as if God's not going to judge you by how you treat your family. He is. That is the crown that you put at his feet. It is the people of God and the children that you raise before him, right? And so it's just a way to kind of remind myself, like, they are the joy and crown of my life. And I need to remember that and live as if that's the truth. Everything else has to fight against that to win, right? Or at least deals with life in light of that. Like you don't get to rob that from them and try to make me process life. Like they are my joy and my crown. And now I'm going to work through the issues that we have in life. It's just a great statement. Yeah. Danny, you're up, my friend. Dude, what is this? Real quick, did you guys see this? Check this thing out. It's like is that a phone or a tablet?
Both.
That's like an entire book in front of you. That thing, does it fold open?
It's a phone. Folded. It's a phone. You know what I mean?
Dude.
It's cool.
One day I'll be there. My vision's going that way. I'm just going to have one of these. Yeah. That's why those family Bibles are so big. It's because,
It's helped me not feel old, so I don't have to wear glasses to read. You know what I mean? Now, on Sunday, I shared a message on rejection, but it's really most about being accepted and learning how to be that. But I shared it about the life of David.
Okay.
And anytime you share a message, if you understand it, you're really preaching to yourself first. And man, just going through that whole story and the ending of it has been on my mind. I mean, David, how do we react when we get rejected? Is really the question, right?
Proud,
David
foolish,
first,
stupid.
David first gets rejected by his father, right? Yeah. Samuel sent to Jesse to go anoint, one of his sons as king.
He doesn't even get
He
called.
brings everybody except for David. Samuel's like, is there not another? He's like, yeah, we got David, the little one, but
he's didn't count him as a son.
Exactly. He's like an afterthought.
Yeah.
And so he gets rejected by his father, but what comes out of that is he's anointed king. Further down the line, he's being treated, after he's anointed as king, he's treated like an errand boy. Sends him, to go bring food to the captains and go figure out like how your brothers are doing and bring back word. He happens to be out there, and at that point he arrives, Goliath's over there taunting everybody. David hears the guys murmuring about what they're gonna, whoever kills that guy, this is what they're gonna get. You know, you're gonna get money, you get a house, you get the king's daughter, you don't pay taxes ever, right? And so David's like, really? And so his brothers now start rejecting him. You know, you're full of pride, you're this and that and the other. Yeah. David can't even hear that. He's like, what does the guy get who kills that dude over there?
Yeah.
Right? And he ends up killing, so he gets rejected by his brothers, but then he ends up killing Goliath, right? You fast forward now, and Saul takes a liking to David because he's seen him do this. The king Saul. So now the eye of the king has favor on David. David is looking up to this guy. And it turns out now, because Saul gets jealous because of all that David is accomplishing,
he rejects him.
Saul rejects him by trying to kill him twice. So now he gets rejected by his father, rejected by his brothers, but each time there's something amazing that happens. Now he gets rejected by Saul. Saul tries to kill him twice. He goes on the run, and out of that, God gives him his own army, because when he goes on the run, then the 400 leave and they come find him. That's where, you know, he gets his 30 out of that. You see what I'm saying? So he gets rejected by the king. He ends up with his own army. Yeah. Now, they go to this little town, this city, Keilah, that the Philistines were attacking and devastating that city. So he and his boys go over there. They save the city from utter destruction. Save it. Saul gets word that David's in Keilah. He sends word to them and lets them know, if the men of the city don't give David up, he's coming to burn the city down. David can't seem to believe it. He grabs the ephod and goes and inquire of the Lord. He's like, Lord, I just got word that Saul's coming here to do this. And if the men of the city don't give me up, then he's going to tear. He said, would these men really give me up? The Lord said, yes, they're about to give you up, right? So now the city that he saved with his men, the city rejects him. Yeah. That's rejection after rejection. He takes off. He ends up winning so many battles. And the final part of this that I went over was, now he goes back to his town where him and his guys have all their families, Ziklag. And he gets there, and they're coming back from war, and they come to find everything has been taken. Now, there's something that happens when you spent time in battle with somebody. There are guys that I fought in the ring that we're going to be linked together forever because of what happened in that ring with us. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? These men, David taught them how to be courageous. He taught them how to live. These were rejects of society.
Worthless men.
Worthless. But yet he formed such a tight bond with them because he taught them everything, and these men absolutely loved him. They come back, find out that the Amalekites come in, they took their wives, their sons, their daughters, their possessions, burned the place down, they're left with nothing. They now look at David and they're like, it's his fault, we got to kill him. Yeah. His own men now, that he's the closest to in that time, reject him. What does he say? How did David react to that? It says he strengthened himself in the Lord. He had to do that because there was no one left. That was his reaction to being rejected. What's our reaction to being rejected today? Completely different. He strengthened himself in the Lord. Then he goes and inquires of the Lord and says, Lord, what do we do here? Which is what we should do. Go to the Father and ask him, should we pursue these? And God said, yeah, pursue, because you're going to recover everything. And he finally goes back to the guys. He's like, hey, guys, knock it off. Here we go. This is what God said. We're going to go. And he recovers all. So, his reaction to rejection, he gains so much out of that, whereas rejection for us usually just brings us down. Yeah. I was rejected by my father, so the rest of my life is done. You know what I mean? I was rejected by my parents, so now the rest of my life is done. Complete opposite to what we're supposed to be doing. And the end of that story, you got Solomon, who is so wise, wealthy, and the Queen of Sheba gets word of who he is. So she goes now to go meet Solomon. And she realizes when she gets there, she says it, the half was not told me. I didn't want to believe it, but now that I got here, not only do I believe it, but they undersold this thing, right? But listen to this. She says to him in the last part of this, blessed be the Lord your God who delighted in you, setting you on the throne of Israel. Now here it is. Because the Lord has loved Israel forever. Therefore, he made you king to do justice and righteousness. Because the Lord loved Israel, he made you king. The message is to all of us and to everyone out there. Because God loved the ones around you, he brought you into this world.
Yeah. He appoints you with some kind of authority.
Men, because God loved your wife and your family so much, he brought you into their lives. We always hear the opposite of that.
Yeah.
That's been on my mind for weeks now. Because God loved the people, he set you over them as king. Because God loved your employees, he set you over them as their boss.
All the people that rejected him.
Do you see what I'm saying? Like for us, we don't understand that. And so it's just a message of hope to everybody out there. Truly, because of everybody, because God loved all those who were around you, man, he brought you into their lives. You are a result of God's love for his people. I mean, get some identity and truly understand how God is looking at you versus how you're looking at yourself versus how the world is seeing you.
Yep.
It's completely different. And that will stay in it. I feel like this is burned into my head to try to understand that perspective. Because he loved the people, he gave you to them. Very different.
So you preach in this and you go through and it kind of gives you confidence, conviction, I should say, to all the young men that you pour into and disciple, those that have been rejected maybe by a father that bailed on them or grandparents.
It changed everything for me because I've lived a life of rejection.
So you can speak confidently into their life.
That's good. I've been rejected by them all.
You don't have to coddle the rejection.
No, you don't. It's not that you don't have to. You shouldn't.
Yeah.
You shouldn't. Why do we want to teach people to be victims instead of victors? Mm-hmm. Especially Christian people. We read the word of God that says not just that you're a conqueror, you're more than conquerors. But yet we want to gravitate to the world and teach them to be victims instead. Now, that's not being a son and that's not being a daughter. We're royalty. You're sons and daughters of a king that by right makes you a prince or a princess. You are here to inherit that which no one else can because God loves you. Just because of that. Not because you're deserving of it. You and I don't deserve anything. But strictly because of love. And because he loves us that much, that's what he does for us. Yeah. Now, what gives you and I the right not to love everybody around us the exact same way? What gives us the right not to pursue people and have that kind of love in our hearts for people? It's insane. Like that, I'm telling you, this concept is burned into my mind. I've not been able to get that out of my head, what she said to Solomon. Because God have loved Israel. Therefore, he has made you king over them.
Well, and and this is what Travis brings up all the time is, how can you ever get that perspective if you don't know your standing before God? If your identity is like standing on that Bosu ball thing out there where you're about to fall off it, blow out a hip at any moment. Like what, if David strengthened himself in the Lord, he didn't like rejection is a matter of circumstance, and David's circumstance didn't define his standing before the Lord. And I think, again, this is a verse that has just, like you said, been scorched on my brain, catechized into my mind from the moment I first read it was, so 1 John 4:16, so we have come to know and to believe the love God has for us. Like that, I read that 100 times, and then I read it one day, and it was like, he distinguishes between knowing and believing the love God has for us. And David knew it, but in every one of those moments of rejection, he believed it. And you talk about, Spurgeon said of the Psalms, you can never get higher than David and you can never get lower. Like David is all over the map because he was honest, but he always knew you can know something, but then you have to believe it. David had to believe, God, Ziklag is really screwing me over right now. They're all about to kill me. These guys that I love, they want me dead. He strengthened himself in the Lord because he knew who he was. He believed what God said about him, and that enabled him to look around and say, okay, you brought me here for them. Like, you can't be effective in seeing the way God has made you a business owner or a father or a husband for the sake of loving others if you don't know you're loved and you don't believe that in every one of the difficult moments of life. And so just identity always comes back to identity, but resting in that so that you can see how God's using you to love other people. I think that's like the prerequisite.
You guys were talking about our wives. You know, this is a message for my wife and consequently for all wives. Man, God loved me so much. He brought her into my life. He loved me so much, man. This is what he did. He brought my wife into my life. That's what he's done for us, man. Understand that about your wives.
And to go in line with what you're saying too, he loved her so much, he brought you into her life. That weighs heavy, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's a very heavy weight, but it's the most awesome weight to carry. It is. It's the most awesome weight for us to carry as individuals. So, man, say thank you. Because seriously, God loved you so much. He gave you that beautiful princess that you're running around with right now. Understand that. That's the power of his love. That is the power, the depth of his love.
All right. Well, I'm going to wrap this up. But before I do, I'll make a shameless plug because you were talking about David and Ziklag. That story you're referring to Cliff did take liberty and wrote a story that's a biblical fiction take on, it kind of expands on what's going on in that time. Yeah. This is an epic book. It'll be the best $20 you spend this week. If you haven't read Day of War, grab it, read it, go on Spotify or Audible and listen to it. It's a brand new recording's actually done. Stefan Rudnicki did it, and you can listen to it. That thing is awesome to go through again. Are you guys enjoying listening back through it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Good. All right. Well, last, I'll share a story from, let me grab this.
We need a study guide for
I
it.
had a listener who follows the podcast. He reached out, sent me a personal message, and we've been going back and forth. His name's Ryan. He lives up in Michigan. The dude's a welder. And we got to get this guy down. I was looking through his Facebook or his Instagram. He's like, like sweet metal, like sweet projects is what he's doing. Big signs, fire pits, a ton of other stuff, some trophies that he made up for different, like sweet mechanic trophies with like a piston and some wrenches all tied together, some sick stuff.
Can he make us some chairs?
That will not be my first request. But he sent me a message, and he's been reading through those books, and he got a hold of War Prayers, and he's been going through it. But he sent me a message because in the introduction to this, Cliff starts it, and he says, too often we pray like cowards. We need to pray like warriors. And so he sent me a message, and he said, what does it look like to pray like a coward? I'm curious to know if I'm praying like a coward. And so I took a couple of days and then responded to him. But it was an awesome... It was a good thing to process with a brother in the Lord, right? I mean, to actually, even just the introspection that I went through, looking at what I'm going through and what would it look like to pray a cowardly prayer. And so I'll just put it on the table with you guys. What do you think it looks like to pray a cowardly prayer? How would you have responded to that? And then we'll wrap up.
For me, it's not about your tone. It's not about how much you say. It's about a cowardly prayer is a proud prayer of thank you, God, that I'm not like that tax collector. And a cowardly prayer is a faithless prayer.
Yeah.
A prayer that doesn't believe that it's heard, and a prayer that doesn't believe that prayer is effective.
Yeah.
Is a cowardly prayer. And I think the most cowardly thing is going prayerless, right? Like I just think that there's a way that we can live fearfully when we don't recognize that we are able to, we're not like Esther, who had to fearfully go before the king Ahasuerus, and if he didn't raise the scepter, she would be executed. Like we just stroll into the throne room of grace. But we need to recognize, though, Jesus Christ in Hebrews 5, he was heard. His prayers were heard because of his reverence. Yeah. It doesn't say his prayers were heard because he was the Son of God. His prayers were heard because of his reverence. And so I think there's a reverential courage and an expectation that you're not just shooting arrows up into the air and hoping they stick, but that you're going before your Father, but who is God of the universe, boldly. come boldly before the throne of grace to receive mercy and find help in time.
But even
need.
with boldness, there's reverence there.
Yeah.
Boldness and proud are different.
Cowardly is presumption or
good.
faithless.
All right, good.
I mean, the easiest way, as I always bring it back to being a father and being a son. If Reed were to come and ask me for something and it was victim and weak and pathetic, even if, like, I would want to train him on how he's asking me because, A, that's not what we're about. It's not what we're about because we're macho men and all that. It's the idea that, like, you don't know who you are. You're my son. You can come talk to me confidently. And if it's dumb, I might tell you it's dumb and let's rethink it. But, like, come to me confidently and know who you are and let's have a serious conversation. So that's the idea of paralleling and paraboling the idea of, like, you talking to your dad, right?
Yeah.
And Joshua, right whenever he's about to take command, it says here, be strong and courageous for, and this, like, blew my mind. I've read it a million times, but it just clicked. Be strong and courageous, for you shall cause the people to inherit the land that I swore to give to your fathers. Only be strong and very courageous. Be careful to do everything I've told you. But it's like, Joshua, you are going to be the person that causes these people to inherit the land that I promised. You are. Only be strong and be courageous. Don't be a coward. Don't be a victim. Don't whine that these guys are giants and we're small. I don't want to hear any of that. Look at me. Know who you are. You're my son, and I've told you to go and do it. Go and do it. Yeah. Like, that's kind of like how I think about when I'm praying. If I'm like, God, if it's your will you please, like, or if the prayer is selfishly all about me. Do you get what I'm saying? Yep. So there's like kind of layers to that, and not to make it a formula, but like the easiest way for me is the reverence of a father. There's a healthy respect and fear. Like, you're not just going to talk freely with your dad any way you want to, but there's also a confidence that you're his son. And I'm going to go sit and talk with dad and get wisdom and guidance. He might say I'm stupid and kind of make fun of me a little bit. Do you get what I'm saying there?
Yeah.
But there's a weightiness to that, but also not a victim, woe is me mindset. Because anytime Reed comes with whining or complaining and a sob story, we're like, well, I'm not having that. Like, what do you need? Let's talk. Let's work through it. But none of that.
Act like a man and pray.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah. Any prayer that causes me to come out of my prayer time being just a hearer and not a doer, that makes me feel like a coward. Any time spent with him where it's like his word says, don't just be a hearer of the word, but be a doer. Because if you're just a hearer, you're only deceiving yourself. You know, to be in that place where if I go to the Father about something and the only thing I come back out of was just giving lip service, then there's no action there. And I feel like as men, we should be men of action, not of talk. We got enough talk going on out there.
So you're saying when you pray, you expect God to change you, cause you.
Absolutely.
To do something, sacrifice, serve,
He's
love.
He's the King of Kings. He is the answer to everything, but the answer, there's an action that goes with the answer. The answer is not just talk. Again, we're living in a time where we're experiencing the failure of constant just talk and not enough action. So to be in a place right now, when I go to the Father, I expect to get my marching orders from him.
Pray and act.
For him to let me know, like, this is what you do, son.
That's
I can say, yeah, Pop, all right, good. Let's go.
Just a few things as I started looking into it. There's one of the Greek words that is translated into coward or cowardly in the New Testament. There's 4 places that it uses this word, and every time it's connected to fear. So you mentioned that, right? And it was always connected to something, an object or someone. They feared the storms and they acted cowardly on the boat with Jesus, the disciples, right? They had a fear of man or fear of something that they were afraid of. And so their fear was misplaced. It was placed in man rather than in God. And there's another word that's very similar to that Greek word. So there's 2 words, and this is where it was kind of cool to see, that are similar in the Greek. They have the similar root. One is translated cowardly. The other is the word that we use to describe a bondservant of Christ, like Romans 1, where Paul says, I'm a bondservant of Christ. And so slave, coward, like those 2 are similar, not the exact same word, but similar, right? And the relationship is that they're connected, they're bound to something. And so if you're acting like a coward, it's because you're bound to fear that's misplaced. If you're acting like a bondservant, which is a good thing if it's to Christ. It's because you're bound to him, and therefore your fear's in a healthy place. Does that make sense? Mm-hmm. Fear is good if it's submitted to the right object. It's not good when it's placed in regards to anything else.
Other than him, yeah.
Other than God. And so it's helped me to try to, when I think about just life and when I go in and begin to pray, the times that I've prayed out of fear, motivated by fear of someone or something taking place, I don't want this to happen. So you pray and you have to step back and you just go, wait a minute. Let's do battle again because I'm not seeing something here. And so that's helped me. I'm thankful that Ryan, I think it's 810 Metalworks up in Michigan, that he wrote this in because it's caused me really to reflect, and it's shaped the way that I pray now. So anyway, thanks guys for giving your thoughts on that.
Not to mention Revelation 21.
Oh, dude.
It says, to the one who conquers will have this heritage, and I will be his God, and he will be my son. But as for the cowardly, that's first.
And the next word.
The faithless, the detestable.
Yeah, there you go.
As for murderers, the sexually immoral, sorcerers, idolaters, and all liars, their portion will be in the lake that burns with fire and sulfur, which is the second death. So the first ones,
that's pretty black and white.
The first ones chucked into the lake of fire are cowards.
Well, and that was the other point. Yikes. Fear was always connected, and the word, when it came to this, you have little faith, no faith, unbeliever. Those words were connected, right? And so it really is, cowardly prayers are connected to faith. And your faith is connected to who you fear. Mm-hmm. You either fear man or you fear God. Those are the two people in life.
Who do you fear?
That's reality,
no
right?
There's no gray.
All right. Well, that's a wrap up. This is Unfiltered Friday. Later.